Hi, I'm Rob the Accountant. I like to help people build companies while finding solutions to problems that may come your way. Have a question? Drop me the line at ask@robtheaccountant.com and I'll try to get back to you either through the email or through a video. What are we talking about today? Well, it's a big day in America. For the first time in our history, we have tried and convicted a former president of 34 felonies. Now, I'm going to be the guy that, once again, brings sanity to all you idiots. Yes, idiots, because I want to show you something. Because, it's easy to sit there on whatever side you are on and justify the position for or against Donald Trump. But to me, in America, justice is supposed to be blind. So let's start with the first thing. What is the definition of a kangaroo court? A kangaroo court is an unofficial court held by a group of people in order to try someone regarded, especially without good evidence, as guilty of a crime or misdemeanor. Now, in this case, we have the courts in New York City. We have members of this court, the staff of this court. Despite Trump might have a gag order, the rest of us are not subject to any gag orders. But members of the court staff actually have dinner with the leader of the Democratic Party, that is Senator Schumer. This is an occurrence. Donald Trump was prevented the right of having a jury trial. He was prevented a lot of things. He's actually being charged federally at a locality or a municipality. Right? New York City is a municipality. They're governed, their laws, their legal forum stops once you leave New York City. It's no longer relevant. I, upstate New York, am not subject to the laws of New York City because I don't live in New York City, nor am I subject to the tax of New York City. So let's start with one more word. It's called extortion. Extortion is the practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats. In this case, Stormy Daniels and her lawyers forced Donald Trump to give her money, or else they would go public with what they deemed as information that might not be helpful to his position. I mean, that's a big question. Might not be helpful to his position, right? Because prior to this, everybody already had their view of Donald Trump one way or another. Whether you believed him paying off Stormy Daniels or not was going to sway your vote one way or another. It's just a ridiculous position. So, what I would like to do is remind everybody about one other thing, okay? In Manhattan, New York City, one of the wealthiest and least equal places in the country. Did you hear me? One of the least equal places in the country. Courts convicted black people of felonies and misdemeanors at a rate 21 times greater than that of white people over the past 2 decades. This disparity is the largest of any county in the state. Do you hear what I'm saying? The largest disparity of any county in the state. That's why Rikers Island is a hold. New York State has been convicting black and brown and Latino for the last 200 years since its existence. It has used kangaroo courts. It has used the threat of sentencing people for 50 years as a means of forcing capitulation into plea bargains that once again restrict the rights of the people that this state claims to help. And now you have the exact same thing happening to a former president. And everybody should actually be really disappointed in this because Hillary Clinton wasn't tried and she kept classified secrets in the bathtub, right? So let's just talk about one other thing about that, right? So in Manhattan, one of the wealthiest and least equal places in the country, courts convicted black people of felonies and misdemeanors at a rate 21 times greater than that of white people over the past 2 decades. Hillary Clinton, not Joe Biden, used the term super predators in 1990. Joe Biden in 2007 said Obama was the first clean African American candidate. Again, who knows what that freaking means, okay? I'm working on not swearing, people, but the first clean, what he doesn't shower, he does shower. What does he use, like Old Spice? Is it Degree deodorant? What? I mean, so what you see here is that the Democratic Party has used the courts as an exercise of its power, not only to gain influence, but to also hold people down. And so what I would like to do today is I would like to say to Governor Kathy Hochul, our governor in New York State, who again, how she got the job, isn't she was the number 2 for Cuomo, right? So she was the number 2 for Cuomo, and Cuomo was disgraced for once again being not as cordial or being very unfriendly or whatever you want to call it, just being not a really nice guy to some of the female on his staff. And this was his number 2. And so he got booted and we got the number 2. So what I think we should do today is I think Governor Hochul should, one, restore the faith of New Yorkers, right? Restore the faith of New Yorkers who have been convicted 21 times greater than that of white people. And she should immediately file an appeal to restore Donald Trump to get at least a new trial on like grounds that are like that. If it was a guy like me going to trial, I would get all the rights. In fact, the whole court system would bend over backwards for me. So what I think Governor Hochul should do to guarantee that maybe she gets another re-election, because it does seem like Mr. Andy Cuomo wants to run again, maybe she should come out and she should say that this verdict, 34 felonies against the former president in New York City, for a guy who probably has contributed to a few of her campaigns, right? That's the truth of it. Donald Trump's been donating to Democrats in the state for the last 40, 50 years. It isn't his family, there's the whole organization. So we know she's gotten some money, but she should come out and say that this needs to be an appeal. And then she should also say that if the appeal fails, that she, as the governor of New York, will pardon Donald Trump from all of these felonies. She can make the Democrats look like sane people again. Governor Hochul, you can help Democrats look like we're sane, because anyone who is a Democrat in this country and believes that this is the way you beat Trump, you have lost already. You have lost. Putin in Russia kills and locks up his political candidates. Joe Biden, he hasn't killed his political opponent yet, but he sure has turned the wheels of justice to try to make sure that he's not a candidate. And I think that if Governor Hochul wants to be the people's governor, she should come out and she should restore faith to the people. She should say that this trial, and it's whatever its viewpoint, she can say it very politically nice and astute, that this trial did not meet the definition and the high class standard that the New York Court of Appeals and our appellate and our judiciary and the jurisprudence for law in this state affords everybody, even the former president. So Governor Hochul, I'm asking you as a citizen of the state to do the right thing, because you know the right thing is always the most unpopular thing. But you cannot take your attorney general and you cannot take the next Manhattan district attorney into your next campaign and think that the rest of the country, the other 49 states, sometimes we forget about them in New York here, that they don't have allies that are going to fund money to lay waste to the Democratic Party of New York. New York should not be the ostrich of the whole union. We should not be the state that attempts to thwart democracy by convicting a former president. Governor Hochul, it is time for you to appeal, and it is time for you to stop this, and it is time for you to pardon Trump. I'm Rob the accountant. Everybody knows this is wrong. Everybody knows that this is a sham, and the one person who can fix it is the governor of New York. She can make a case, and she can use. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? She'd have to use the Attorney General to write the appeal to give Trump a new court case. That would be the right thing for Leticia James and Governor Hochul to do. That would be legal jurisprudence, right? Because the right thing to do is to show that justice is blind and that the practice of convicting anyone based on their skin color or what they believe or what they may have said or that they were getting extorted or they were getting abused, that we are not convicting people 21 times greater than other people for crimes that don't exist. It is time for Governor Hochul to appeal Trump's conviction and pardon the former president of the United States of America. And she, although she may not be the most admired person in New York State, she would, in fact, gain many, many, many admirers in New York State who do, in fact, believe in the rule of law. We have Columbia Law School here. We have NYCU. We have Buffalo Law. We have some of the most preeminent law schools in this country. And the trial that we all witnessed in New York City was anything but a trial. It's time for Governor Hochul to pardon Trump. I'm Rob the accountant. You folks have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.